What's up, XR peeps? Today is our town hall. So exciting. And we're going to talk about everything from XRP to Flare Network to the SEC case to random crypto markets, XRPL projects, and who knows? Who knows what's going to come out of our mouths? All I know is I'm hanging out with some of the coolest people from the XRPL today. And you guys are also welcome to join us in the live chat and also in StreamYard. We're going to drop a link in a little bit so you can hop on with us if you want to. Later, we actually have John Deaton coming through. So that's pretty epic. Obviously, we're going to be talking SEC case with him. But a little reminder, we are not financial advisors. We don't give financial advice. And you probably shouldn't listen or take too seriously too much that we say. We're here to have a good time. We're here to have fun. And welcome to the XRP Town Hall. First off, let me bring up one of my dear friends, Patrick Riley, CEO of Reaper. Welcome, Patrick. We have Josh from Physical Digital. Everybody knows JTXRP in the house. We've got William from XOGE, the multi-chain meme coin, and of course, James Ray from Schmeckles. What's up, fellas?
Good morning, everyone.
What's up, Jenna?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Guys,
Thank you, Jenna.
I'm stoked for this. This is going to be such a blast. Patrick, I'm going to pass it off to you for a moment, and you can kick it.
Yeah, sure. So this was really an idea we had kind of between a few of us. So I know William brought this up and Joshua brought this up. And really where it came down to was this space is stressful, right? And we're in a extended bear market and, verging on World War III with a Ripple case hanging over our heads. And everyone's really stressing about everything. And you know what? Jenna and I, we were talking, we're like, I just need a drink. And so here we are. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to chat. We're going to be casual about it. And we're going to enjoy our time. A little bit of margarita and some liquor coffee. And, this is not a serious meeting. This is not a serious crypto advice like Jenna said. This is just us having fun. And we want to hear from the community. We want to talk to you.
So you were saying you're onto the cocktails these days, Patrick, and you're living proof of it right now.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers to that, guys.
Cheers. I feel like we have some old Russian drinking music here going on too at the same time, which is great.
Anybody get us some? I don't think they'll copyright that. I think
Everything's copyrighted. Nothing can be done anymore.
So if you're standing out there in the audience or watching at home, please grab yourself a drink. It's Sunday night, and just relax because the best thing to do in the military when things get hard is just to laugh it off and say screw it and keep driving. So that's kind of how I learned, and that's what we're gonna do. So.
Well, that's a good point. Just about being an XRP holder or being in the XRPL, being resilient is a very important quality to have, and I think it's something that a lot of us devs have. We've built up a lot of resilience in this space. So, what would you guys say to a lot of the people out there who may be part of our projects in our communities, or who may just be XRP holders, about the current times? Because it is quite difficult, right?
Which part?
Yeah, right.
Good question. Eh?
Like let's chunk it a little bit here because that's a little bit broad.
Yeah. So is it all the? Let's just. I mean, I guess we could talk about the all the actions that are happening in terms of like against crypto. We want to start there. I feel like that's one of the most depressing things to me. I don't know if you want to wait till John Deaton gets on to talk about that, but
well, John is he's working on an amicus right now for the LBRY case, and that's what's keeping him. But he'll probably drop in on us later. But so what do y'all think on the LBRY case? Because I'll be honest, I didn't follow it that closely for LBRY as XRP for obvious reasons. And then now we got so many cases incoming, and it's going to be on the exchanges, I would say, largely that they're going to get crushed in the near future. So I would love to hear some community thoughts too on what their actual fears are. What are you worried about?
So if we're gonna talk about problems, I always like to, because anybody can talk about problems. I think it's important that we try to follow it up with potential solutions after. Right? And there are solutions in the works, right? So sometimes people conflate the two, that because people gripe all the time, and there are people that are working on solutions in a variety of areas, right? Like part of the amicus briefs was part of coming up with solutions in terms of having a say from the community, right? Like I think we've got 3 people that are going to be coming today that have filed amicus briefs, including yourself, right, Patrick?
Yeah. And I just want to say, someone said they didn't want to think about Uncle Gary today. And, unfortunately, I have this thing that looks just like him. And I think about him every day now. Can't help it.
Did you name it Gary?
I don't know.
What's his name, Patrick?
This is a tomb.
This a tomb? Okay.
Yeah.
Its name's not Gary, though.
No, I wouldn't do that to this poor girl.
What does that name stand for? I feel like it means something.
It's the Egyptian god of creation and new beginnings.
Oh, I love it. That's like really fitting. Did you just get this cat?
I did.
And it's a new beginning right now for you.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
All right.
nightmares. Yeah, probably.
Pedro says the first solution question, how to get rid of scammers for good. And this is a hard one, right? Because I feel like there's so many more bad actors than good actors. What are your thoughts on this, guys?
Well,
I think you'll never get rid of scammers. That's my first comment. Scammers will show up where money's there to be made. So if there's some financial incentive behind a space, whether it's crypto or something else, you're going to find scammers. It's just part of the human condition, is for people to try and rip other people off or to take the shortcuts to avoid hard work. Whether it's through intelligent scamming or whether it's through just basic crime like theft, it's still going to exist. So they're my thoughts. I think the best thing that we can do as a community is to educate ourselves and educate the newcomers onto the space. There's a lot of common things that we say, like do your own research, protect your crypto, not your keys, not your crypto, don't invest what you can't afford. All these sort of ideas, I think we need to keep repeating them. We've heard them a million times, but they may be new to new people coming on. So that's my take.
Oh, I'm going to add to this stream another one of our XRPL friends, Ace. Ace, what's up? You are live on the stream as well, buddy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me on.
You're absolutely welcome. Welcome.
Welcome, Ace. You got to be on camera if you're going to be up here too.
Bro, don't you start with me.
It's probably his underwear right now, Patrick. Like
I know that's why people keep asking when Moon, and here's Ace.
There he is. What's up? Did you guys see?
So why did I get an invite to this? What are we doing here? What's the invite?
Everybody got an invite to this.
Yeah, we're posting it out. Everybody can come hang out. Wait, did I see this right, guys? Did XRP Case, didn't they get now 3,000 amicus briefs or something in? It was some astronomical number that they have now.
And
that sounds too high.
Yeah.
Is that too high?
Yeah.
Last I heard was 12. So I'm like,
okay, so that has to be a different case then. Somebody was telling me that there was 3,000 that I was on the Good Morning Crypto show, and they must have pulled an article that said that. So it must not have been correct.
Yeah, because we were number 13 for Ripple. And
there is an article. There's an article saying 3,000 amicus briefs. So you're not wrong, Jenna.
wow.
Okay, so we just don't know if that's correct. But if so, holy crap.
Wow. Yeah, that's got to be some kind of bullshit.
I think this is one of those tongue-in-cheek sort of cheeky.
Someone got a robot and,
King
automated that.
Alexander says this is a big sausage fest. So, I'm just going to say that's Jenna's fault.
Okay,
Really.
I invited girls.
And Kelly got an invite.
There's girls coming, but I don't think that's the focus here.
Yeah, it's the space.
There.
Nowadays, we can identify as whatever we want. How dare you assume my gender?
Just to clear up the 3,000 number,
Right.
3,000 XRP holder affidavits have been submitted.
Okay.
So there's conflating affidavits with.
So
with
John
Schmeckles.
Deaton has like 60,000 or 70,000 affidavits on his class action. So.
Oh, that's the people that are involved in it, right? In terms of filing.
Yep.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Hey guys, I have a legitimate question. So when's Jenna gonna get one of those little block logos on her profile?
I got kicked off the block. I was a bad kid.
You didn't get kicked off.
Listen, I got kicked off the block, but they still let me hang out.
As Patrick exits the room.
I may or may not have gotten myself in trouble.
We're not going to talk about you and drinking wine. We're not going to talk about all the fun things Jenna likes to do. Okay,
we're here to drink wine and whatever.
I think legitimately she should get a second chance, though, considering that JT doesn't want to play ball anymore.
Oh, talk about I left the board.
Are you coming, Mr.
That's not that
Drama?
much.
No, I'm just instigating. That's all.
Okay.
I know what you're doing, Ace. We see you.
We see you. So, okay, let's talk about this. What do you have going on in your world now, JT?
Creating content, trying to make sure that I think I'm focusing more on tutorials now a lot, in terms of content, helping out with I'm not on the board of BLOC anymore, but I am still a part of the General Assembly. I do have another YouTube channel that I'm also going to be focusing on as well. That's the Agile Games with James. Trying to help different people who are trying to transition to become a Scrum Master into that profession. So I actually get a lot of people reaching out individually that I'm thinking about trying to maybe start some kind of group cohort together. So there's lots of ideas. It's just a matter of like where I'm going to focus, and also some different life goals. We're trying to become homeowners, so trying to put a lot of focus on that this year too. So yeah, appreciate you asking though.
Yeah, of course. I want to know what all you guys are up to right now. Honestly. Josh, what are you doing?
Well, I've been working on making music for this new collection called Voyage, and it's really neat. If you've ever seen the cool Hubble Space Telescope pictures of different nebula galaxies and stars going supernova, just imagine that, but moving. So it would almost simulate stars and galaxies moving over billions of years. And then I've got unique music that I've created for each one, and they loop really nicely. There's only going to be maybe like 398 of them, but what will happen is, so you will be able to choose to just have one of those standalone or smash it together with another NFT from the collection that hasn't been released yet, kind of like creating a third collection.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
dope. I need like
It's
a
fun.
visual on this. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I love making art, so that's fun. And I'm working on another side project that has to do with wine out of California.
What?
Really?
Yes,
Is this crypto related or something separate?
Yeah, it's going to be crypto related. There's 3 of us. We're approaching it from the business end first, so we'll have all the Web 2 stuff, all the licenses, everything. We've already got some arrangement with someone who's already doing production. So we're going to be using their distribution network and everything, and then tying it into the crypto component. Of course, I'll be helping out with the art and stuff too.
Awesome.
Nice to see you, Freddie and Lady K.
We've got Freddie
Welcome,
Riz
guys.
and we've got Lady K in the house, guys. Hey, welcome.
Welcome
Oh,
in.
hey everyone, we're in the building.
Cheers. Awesome. Freddie,
So you're just in time for the 1 chip challenge, Fred.
I don't have nobody sent me the chip.
Do it.
You have to get it yourself. Come on.
It's going to be a thing at the Reaper convention. Just if anyone's not tracking, there's going to be a whole stack of Packy chips there for everybody that hasn't done it yet.
You'll appreciate this. I don't think you guys can see it. These are Carolina Reaper seeds.
Oh
Oh,
my!
I thought that was your dime bag.
Is that colon cleanser?
I legit, dude, I swear I thought you were gonna put.
I was like, did the lawyer really just show his drugs on recording?
I just got
much more than a dime bag. I'm doing well now.
Like, how do you just have that on the hand like that? You're just like right there with it.
I'm sorry. What are Carolina Reaper seeds? I just have to ask. Like what?
Chili seeds.
Oh, okay, chili
Peppers.
seeds. Okay.
Carolina Reaper peppers.
It's
Okay.
the hottest hot pepper so far, although there are people trying to genetically modify other ones they're working on. Some people have claimed they've gone hotter, but it's unproven.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've never gotten that hot, so I'm not gonna like. Yeah, that sounds painful.
Oh, wait, it was fun, right, Lady K?
Oh, you're on mute.
Oh,
We can't hear you, Lady K.
She's not muted, just volume's really low.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Maybe
Oh, so you
turn
could
up your
hear her,
gain
William.
if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear her, but it wasn't loud enough.
Draco Magnus wants some of your Reaper seeds there, Freddie.
Let's see if we can figure out Lady K's tech issue here to get her in the game.
Yep.
Yeah. Lady K, give us a testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you can hear her just so softly, so soft.
Let's see.
Sounds like she's coming through a headset mic that's like far away.
Yeah, she's whispering
Yeah,
softly in her
try to
ears.
get closer, Lady K. Try to get closer to that.
And you can go to your settings, and in your settings, like it's the middle one down at the bottom, you'll see audio. It'll pop up, and then if you go to your mic, just pick whichever one you're working with. See if
Or
that
maybe even just tick the box, adjust mic volume. Hey, Mexi's in the house. How you doing, Mexi?
Mexi, what's up?
What's going on, Mexi? You'd come on up.
Yeah, you should definitely join us. That's my sister.
Oh, is
Sister-
it? It's your
Yes.
actual sister?
No, no.
Just your sister.
Yeah, she's just like my sister. Like my sister. She's like my spirit animal. I love her so much.
Where's the
Hey,
cat?
Greg might be by later. He's up on the tower somewhere right now.
So if
Where's
it's
the
brother
cat?
from another mother, is it sister from another mister?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we do. So, like, I know that John Deaton's coming on the show later, and I know he's going to talk about the SEC case and everything. But I want to know, since we have Freddie here, like, where we're at right now, do you think that this case will actually like be a stepping stone? Do you think it's going to like be just the standard? What are your thoughts on like where we're going and how far we have to go? Like where we're at? What are your thoughts?
I think we're not going to know that much until we see what the judge does on summary judgment, because there's, I've said this before, it's just very bizarre that so many other crypto companies have gotten away with fines and then moved on with the SEC, but not Ripple, because Ripple would pay whatever the SEC, I believe Ripple would pay whatever the SEC wants, because they'd make so much money immediately on their bag of XRP, if they got clarity. So there's something going on, and I think the SEC just wants to take one all the way to see what's going on and see what they're going to get. So basically, my main working thesis now is the SEC doesn't lose anything until this summary judgment, even if they lost summary judgment, because they can always say, "Oh, we've lost. Okay, now instead of appealing for another 2 years, we'll settle on these terms." They'll still be favorable to Ripple, but we'll settle on these terms, and you're still going to pay us a ton of money. They just don't have, in my opinion, now that everything's played out, in their mindset, remember, not necessarily what's right, but their mindset, they don't have any reason to give up yet. And they don't even have a reason to give up, even if they lose at summary judgment. They can still get their money.
So how do they settle on something that's already been judged?
Yeah, that was
I'm
my
a bit
question
confused
too.
with that. Yeah.
So this happens, in cases all the time, even in cases I win. I won, I don't go to trial that often, but I won a huge case in September, a multi-million-dollar verdict. And, right after it, I was like, listen, I'm not going to try and force you guys to pay my fees. Just, get me the money the jury said you owe me, in the next 30 days. And they're like, well, the judge made a lot of these rulings in court that we think will win on appeal. And so we're thinking about taking this to the appellate court. And so, I already had the verdict, and I'm in a good shape. If Ripple wins at trial or summary judgment, they're in the driver's seat, but that doesn't change that it'd be another 2 years, and it doesn't change you could get reversed. So
it's a big negotiation. That's insane. It's pretty interesting.
So we settled that. So with my case, I said, oh, all right, fine. I'll take a little more off. You pay me in 30 days so I can get the money to my client, and then we're good. No appeals, no nothing. And that's what we did.
Interesting. That's great insight, Fred. I've actually not heard that before. So that's very interesting. And something that has this much visibility, that have so many eyes on it, it would still potentially happen.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the SEC, they've won every crypto case, basically. They think they're great. They think everybody's on their side. And, we're in a little bit of an echo chamber, being pro-freedom, pro-liberty, and that turns out to being pro-Ripple here. They just think they're going to win. They just won everything they wanted in LBRY with, some things in the background that remain to be seen what happens. But they think they hold all the cards. So why not see what happens at summary judgment? They lose. They can always settle, get their money, say this was a one-off with XRP. Your case is different, and continue on.
So, Fred, I have a question on the LBRY case, because maybe this is a bad take, so tell me if it is. But my take watching LBRY throughout the case is they weren't the most professional in their responses publicly to the SEC, and I feel like they were probably out of their depths and maybe a bit amateurish in their fighting of the case, whereas Ripple is quite the opposite. Is that a bad take, or is that a fair assessment?
Well, are you talking about both? So their litigation filings and then their tweets and social media commentary?
I would tie the two together. Yeah, that perhaps the leadership of LBRY was not prepared to fight a battle on that level.
I would say yes and no. One, I'm personally the kind of lawyer where someone would say, don't say that. And then I say, I'm going to do it anyway. And that's come back to bite me in the ass a couple of times.
That's why we're friends, Fred.
So, a lot of people would say to LBRY's social media people, stop saying, go F yourself, SEC. It only gets them angrier, which is true. But I liked it. But I think what was more relevant is just that, they hired Perkins Coie. They're some lawyers, I think, out of the Boston office that are licensed in New Hampshire. That's a very expensive firm, not as expensive as the two firms in Ripple, but up there in that level. But they clearly did not hire the teams and teams and teams of legal firepower that Ripple did. And you just, it's sad to say, but you're just not going to get the same measure of justice or fight when you only, now they've definitely spent a few million. I don't know about 10 million, but I would be confident they've spent a couple million on LBRY has on their legal fees, which is still a lot, but they just didn't have the money to go after all these different avenues that Ripple went down. And so, and then they just had a judge that was on senior status, on, looks like that he's giving it a little too much of the benefit of the doubt to the government. Any case could have been SEC, FEC, FCC. He probably would have deferred. And it's just like, this is complicated. It gets crypto, computers, it's just way too much. Now, I'll say I've come across some judges in their 80s that are sharper than some of the judges I've come across in their 40s and 50s. So I'm not going full ageist here, but it is difficult the older you get to comprehend, this type of technology. And we saw that in the Kick case too. Jeremy Hogan made a real funny video once with the transcript of that case. That was a retired judge that was like, the what now? The what's a crypto? And then like that's in the transcript. So it was a combination of bad judge and not enough money.
Well, they also went into it seeming like they really wanted to be like the best actor they could. They're like, just give us we'll just do the best we can, and we'll assume the government will do the right thing, is how I got what I get from the LBRY case. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
LBRY, wasn't it though, their main problem was they didn't have enough of their ecosystem built out before they actually released a token. And I think that that would have helped their case tremendously, right? Had they done so?
I don't know. I'm not, I feel bad saying this. I don't have a full grasp of exactly the library ecosystem, but it just seems like it's very similar to a lot of projects where we got the project, we get out there, we put it out there, and we're still building it while it's out there. And I mean, you could say that about every project's like that, really, especially at the very beginning. And the judge in that case just sideplayed it and said, or sidestepped it and said, yeah, there's this evidence that other people were using it for other reasons, but I mean, I'm not going to get into how many people, and there were some people that bought it for an investment contract. That's good enough for me.
So there was a CFTC commissioner, I forget her name right now. I would remember it if I was totally sober, but
Caroline Pham?
Yeah, maybe, but she was saying allowing crypto companies 3 years to become compliant, basically, as their new startups, and give them like a 3-year, touch bed to work out their things before they have to comply with certain laws. Any thoughts on that between either yourself or John? And thank you so much for joining us, John. I know you're a very busy man, and I know you got the LBRY case coming tomorrow, which you're working on your amicus for. So we really appreciate you spending some time with us.
Big John in the house.
What up?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That's also my daughter's. Well, tomorrow is her 21st birthday, so I'm in the middle of celebrating that. So I have limited time, but I just wanted to make sure I popped in and say hi. Appreciate you guys inviting me.
Oh,
and yeah, the LBRY hearing is very, very important. Everyone on this call knows, I'm sure, and has been supportive, but it's a little disappointing that some of the real industry leaders hasn't, because a lot of people mistake the hearing, well, the SEC won, it was a total victory for the SEC, and all that's true. But we're at that remedies section, and the SEC is seeking an injunction, and the language of the injunction is overbroad. So it basically, theoretically, brings everyone into play, including secondary market users of the platform. And obviously, someone I represent is Naomi Brockwell. Naomi has never purchased a single LBRY credit. She's never sold a LBRY credit. In the first couple years that she was accumulating these credits as tips for the content and things of that nature on the LBRY platform and Odyssey, she did not even know that you could trade it for 4 cents or 2 cents or whatever it was trading. She had zero knowledge and awareness that the token had a monetary value. Yet the SEC, they'll concede on the record, and they have, to the judge, that yes, we agree, many LBRY credit token holders did not view acquiring LBC as an investment, and that they utilized the token to access the platform. And so then the judge threw it back on them and said, well, you need to provide clarity for that. Like, do something. Give a no action letter that says Naomi Brockwell and other people, users of the platform, that, we're not claiming that what you own is a unregistered security. And the SEC refuses to do that. And so this hearing is us, LBRY, as well as amicus counsel that I'm in now, basically pleading with the judge that don't let your decision, don't let your order be misconstrued in any other way than what you meant it. If you only meant for your decision to be direct sales from LBRY or its executives, then please say that, and please expressly exclude secondary market transactions, because there's nobody, I don't care how talented of a securities lawyer or prosecutor you are, there's nobody on the planet that can say what Naomi Brockwell owns is an investment contract with LBRY. It's just absurd, but they won't give the clarity. Now, everybody on this call, your guess is as good as mine. Why won't they give that clarity when they agree? Because they're in a war against crypto and they want to maximize it, and they want the implication that the token itself, whether that token be XRP or that token be LBRY credit or that token maybe be ETH, whatever, that it's in and of itself is a security. And so that's the fight.
So John, I got a couple important questions for you. So the fight now, and I don't know if you've read my disclosure, but I know you did a talk about it and China's influence on this. But really, the fight at this point is not about U.S. Legal implications of the application of our laws so much as it is international geopolitics. Any comment or thought on that?
Well, I mean, I certainly believe that there's been an infiltration of influence on our regulators. And I mean, you know, I'm someone who has said from the very beginning, and I said it in a federal pleading 9 days after the XRP Ripple lawsuit. I said that one logical, or one of the only logical explanations is as to why the SEC filed the case the way they did is that the lawsuit itself was a weapon. And when you look at the who brought the Alibaba IPO and Alipay and what Alipay was trying to do, and then you look at what XRP and Ripple was trying to do, you know, there's an argument there. And there's some dots that can be connected that aren't a conspiracy, and then there's some dots that we can't yet connect. But I think that I believe what we're experiencing is in our regulatory framework is regulatory capture, but it's not necessarily regulatory capture of American business interests or American businesses as it is foreign's. And so I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that's sort of my thoughts on it.
Oh, thank you, John. And the second, even more important question is, since it's your daughter's 21st birthday tomorrow, I know Dad is going to buy her first drink, but what is her first drink going to be? And can I send you some XRP to buy her second?
Thanks. Well, she's her daddy's daughter, so I'm not going to suggest to you that tomorrow it will be her first alcoholic beverage.
Good answer. That's the right answer.
Exactly. She's a junior in college, so let's just leave it at that. But this morning when she woke up and she saw, you know, like a birthday cake and some other stuff, we had a little box for her that said RIP fake ID. You know, so but she's I got her a bottle of Patron and a bottle of Kettle One, and so but she's responsible. You know what I mean? She's a good girl. I'm very lucky. I have very responsible daughters, but I'm not going to pretend that they're angels all the time.
Well, happy birthday, Miss Deaton.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, Jordan Deaton, when you look at the writ of mandamus and you look at the 6 individual XRP holders, she's the first one. A lot of people forget that really all this started. I would have never been able to predict, and I don't think any of us would. And if I did, you guys would have called me out on it. I could have never envisioned, hey, 74,000 people are going to join in a fight against, you know, government overreach from the United States and 143 other countries around the world. At first, all this started was when I read the SEC lawsuit. You know, I owned XRP. My daughter, Jordan, bought XRP. All she did was she got 15 grand on her 18th birthday. You know, the money that was saved up from, you know, her 5th birthday. Someone gives her $100, you know, Christmas money, whatever. It was just put in the bank. And finally, it totaled $15,000. She was 18 years old. And it's like, okay, it's yours now. And what she did with it was, and I didn't even know this, she heard about her father talking about this fourth industrial revolution, right? That there's Bitcoin and ETH, XRP, and all this. So never heard of Ripple, never heard of Brad Garlinghouse. She did what a lot of people did. She said, Bitcoin's at like 9,000. She bought a Bitcoin, and she then took the rest of the money and split it half on ETH and half on XRP. She just picked the top 3 cryptos and said, I'm going to invest in this. And so when this lawsuit came down and they were claiming that people like her are in a common enterprise with a company that she's never heard of, that's what started this all. And so when I filed the case, it was just my daughter and family and friends. And it was like, people in this call in that position, I have a law degree, and I can either be pissed off about this government overreach and complain, or I can try to do something about it. And so it started off like that. It's just sort of a pissed off dad and investor. And then it's turned into something obviously much bigger. So, but I tell her, since her name's Dee, and it's the first initial of the 6 XRP holders, when it gets cited, it's always, Jordan Deaton versus SEC et al. So.
Right on.
She doesn't necessarily want the fame, but
I didn't know that backstory.
There's 74,000 of us that are grateful she's the one that had you as her father, and we don't always choose our fate, but we're all grateful.
Is she studying law as well, John?
No, she's pre-med. She's pre-med, so she wants to right now. She wants to potentially be a surgeon. So she's at UMass, Amherst in Massachusetts. And then my other daughter just graduated USC, and she's, I got to go to her graduation in May. And so, anyways, I'm lucky. Yeah. And I got a 4-year-old daughter. So I got a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a soon to be 4-year-old.
Wow.
So what you need to do is change your Twitter handle to Big Daddy Deaton.
That'd be fun. Hey, John, can I ask you a quick question about your conversation with Charles the other day?
Sure.
So you got on to there with him. He's been kind of saying some different things back to the XRP community, and I really appreciate you getting on there to help educate him and tell him about the emails and so forth. Do you feel like between either himself or the mainstream media that we'll see more coverage about those emails
I think
to the media?
I think it's a great question. I think that a lot depends. To answer your question 100%, what I believe is a lot depends on if Judge Torres unseals them. If she relies on the emails, I know we're talking about 2 different types of emails at first, but the emails, as far as in the case where there's the 58 drafts and there's the 63 Hinman emails going back and forth about his speech, if those get unsealed and Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati, who said will be shocked, I think that will increase the attention to the conflict. And then the emails with the SEC and the ethics office, it could gain more momentum where they can't deny an investigation. But what's important is, as I was trying to explain to Charlie, and that doesn't mean I agree with things he tweets out. Him and I could disagree in face to face. But I've said is, I was trying to make the point that this isn't just the revolving door where you go to the SEC or you go to the FDA, right? And then you go from the FDA to go work for Pfizer. You go to the SEC and you immediately go work and get a job at One River, or you go to A16Z like Hinman did. And it's just incestuous, but it's, the proverbial door. This was something different. This is, you're not retired. You're not getting a pension like other people. You are a profit sharing partner. The more profitable that Simpson Thatcher is, while you're the SEC director, the more money you make. Therefore, you can't talk to them, you can't email. That was it. And that when he's told that you can't have any communication or you're in violation of the statute, and then he gives the proverbial middle finger to the ethics office and then meets 3 more times, that is an absolute per se violation of the criminal statute. I've said on record, I've told Charlie, a monkey prosecutor could convict him. That doesn't mean he goes to jail, right? It doesn't mean that we're not going to equate him to Sam Bankman fraud, but it's a violation and something that he should be convicted of or plead guilty to, and he gets fined or whatever happens. And so that was what I was trying to do. But if those Hinman emails get sealed as far as the draft of the speech, and we don't see that shocking behavior that Brad Garlinghouse referred to, my fear is that nothing will ever happen, because we haven't been successful enough. The most that's been successful is Warren Davidson, and I sent all the banking committee members in the House and the Senate, I sent them a suggested letter to send to the SEC that just simply says that Empower Oversight referral for an Inspector General investigation. What are you doing about that? Are you supporting it? And the most we've got is Warren Davidson saying to the SEC Director of Enforcement, was the speech screened and approved by the SEC Ethics Office? And of course, the SEC Enforcement Director said, I can't answer that question because of litigation, which for the record is a bullshit lie, because the speech and his ethics isn't part of the case. It's not being litigated, that speech, and whether the SEC approved, the ethics office approved the speech, has never been questioned in the litigation. He just didn't want to answer because the answer is no, right? Because it wasn't approved, because it could never be approved. Just for your people that are watching, it's very simple, and you all know this. You read, if you're a paralegal in the ethics office, now you don't have to be a lawyer, and you read his speech that says Bitcoin and ETH are not securities. You say, well, it's not as big a news of Bitcoin, but it's still good news for Bitcoin. But boy, this is huge news for ETH. This is like market moving news. So we just got to make sure there's no conflict. Bill, do you own any Bitcoin? Do you own any ETH? No. Do your family members own Bitcoin or ETH? Because you're giving them such great regulatory clarity, and you're giving them a regulatory advantage here. No. Any family? No. All right. Well, your ongoing profit sharing partner with Simpson Thatcher, is there any connection to ETH or Bitcoin? Oh, wait a minute. There's an IPO for Canon for Bitcoin mining and ETH mining. Oh, wait a minute. You're a member of the Enterprise Gearing Alliance. Bill, you can't give the speech. It's impossible. It's impermissible. If the SEC wants to give this speech, someone else has to give it, Bill. You can't. You're prevented from giving it. That's how easy it would have been. It wouldn't pass a paralegal screening in an hour, because that's how simple it would be. And so we know it wasn't given clarity. And think about it. If you're Bill Hinman, where's lawyers on this call? If you represent Bill Hinman and he was given clarity, if he was given approval, and that speech was expressly approved by the SEC Ethics Office, don't you think we know that by now? Don't you think with all this criticism, it would have come out? We followed all ethic protocols of the SEC, and the speech was screened, and we would have seen that. So I guaranteed that when the Hinman deposition is unsealed that Ripple took, there's no way that these quality lawyers that Ripple hired, there's no way they didn't cross-examine him on this Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. And I guarantee you, and I haven't read it because it's sealed, I guarantee you Hinman says, when I gave this speech, I was completely unaware of the membership of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance with Simpson Thatcher. I guarantee it, because he can't admit it, that he did know it. Because if he admits he knew it, they would say, well, then why would you give this speech? You knew you're conflicted. You can't do that. It also violates Title V. So So that's a long-winded answer, but a lot depends on the judge, and others can chime in here. And if the judge seals it, I don't think we don't get to see that shocking information that Brad Garlinghouse is talking about. So the question then is, can we get the Republican House members to open an investigation into people that pre-existed Gary Gensler?
And John, is the
I don't know
judge
if they're willing to
sealing?
do it.
Is the judge sealing these emails trying to protect the American government? Is that the idea? Like the judge is saying favorably on the SEC to protect them in a sense, or?
I have a lot of confidence that Judge Torres is not a government hack where she's just going to side for the government.
So then, what's the purpose of sealing it and not showing it to the public?
Well, the purpose is the rule is this: if she relies on the emails for any purpose, then it's determined a judicial document, and the law is that she has to, release them publicly. Like the law strongly favors that, almost like she's required.
But won't it cause influence, irregardless of, as long as she reads it, there's going to be some form of influence, right? So then it has to be released publicly.
Well, no, it all comes down. It's like syntax and splitting hairs, right? You know what I mean? Like you can't unring the bell, but the question is, if she relies on, like for example, if she cites in Ripple's motion for summary judgment in their reply brief, they cite to the emails, and let's say that she then cites to that, then it's going to be made public. The question is, if she says, I don't find these emails relevant at all, they're not relevant for whether or not XRP was used as security, and it's not relevant for the fair notice defense. I don't see how they're not relevant for fair notice personally, but if she did say that, then under the law, it's not considered a judicial document because it's relevant to her. She's not relying on it, and she could then say, okay, SEC, you persuaded me that we'll keep it sealed for whatever reason. So that's the standard.
Will they remain sealed forever as well, John? Like even past?
No, I don't. Eventually they're going to come out, and I'll tell you why. And this is why and some people disagree with me, and they could be right. I've been wrong many times in life, and so. But one of the reasons why I said I don't think the emails are going to drive the settlement now is that the SEC is pursuing other tokens. So, for example, I bring up a case called Dragon Chain. Dragon Chain is a micro software license. The Disney Corporation used to have the blockchain, and it was proprietary under Disney, and then they open sourced it and then let it go. And then there was like an ICO in 2016 or whatever, blah, 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 whatever. The point I'm getting at is the Dragon token is an ERC20 token governed by the Ethereum blockchain. So do you think that the attorneys who represent Dragon Chain, whether, if you got some Freddie, if he's representing Dragon Chain, arguably that the speech and everything about that speech is more relevant than it even was for XRP, because the Dragon token is governed by the Ethereum blockchain. So if it was sufficiently decentralized for ETH, and Dragon is governed by the same sufficiently decentralized blockchain, then there's an issue there, fair notice, there's an issue of, whatever. And so those documents are going to be sought by other people. And we have a decision by Judge Netburn, affirmed by Judge Torres, that says that deliberative process doesn't apply and attorney-client doesn't apply. So I just think there's going to be other litigants in this future litigation that are going to also seek that. I mean, you could ask, is Freddie on here? I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
All right. Like, for example, if you represent Dragon Chain, are you going to ask to take Hinman's deposition?
Oh, yeah. The first thing I do is say, we get to get everything that you disclosed in the Ripple case.
Right. And so here's the thing. If I represent them, I want to depose Hinman. Well, we're going to object to that. Well, there's at least a deposition already done at a minimum. I got to at least get that, and I'll agree to a confidentiality agreement, right? There's another person that has it. And so same thing with those emails and stuff. And, you know, once you start getting more and more parties who have it in their possession, the chances are that it'll get leaked. Chances of FOIA requests. I've already sent a FOIA request, and it's already been denied for all of the emails. And I've cited that it's not privileged by DPP and an attorney-client, and they've denied it, and now I'm appealing it. And then once the general counsel denies it, then I may file, you know, just like in Power, I may file a suit against the SEC on FOIA for those. And so the answer to the question is, Brad Garlinghouse even said, eventually when the truth comes out. So I believe this all comes out eventually, whether it's through FOIA, whether it's leaked, whether it's by the judge disclosing it and unsealing it. The question is it a month from now, or is it, you know, 2 years from now? So eventually we're going to see it.
John, I know you know, you've done a lot of other litigation outside of the crypto side of it, and you know, when I do the same stuff and I try and get emails from corporations, I mean, do you have an idea, or would you care to speculate? I've done it a little bit. You know, when you see these corporate people talking emails, they think they're never going to get found out. You know, it's like, oh, we know the asbestos is in there, but nothing's going to happen for another 30 years, so we're good. Or when I do my nursing home stuff, that's all right if we're understaffed. We got to get the census up. Do you think it's as blatant as, Bill, what about XRP or Litecoin? How come you're only talking about Bitcoin and ETH? We don't get it. What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I'm someone who, well, listen, there's lots of questions. I'm a plaintiff's attorney, and so I file cases of people that have been injured by corporations and things like. So I represent people who have mesothelioma, and asbestos was obviously used. The companies knew it, and there's these documents, we call them, as a plaintiff's attorney, we call them motherfucker documents. And what do I mean by that? That means when a jury reads an email or a document, whatever it is, and they read it and then they go, motherfucker, right? And so, for example, to give what I'm talking about, there's a document from 1964 in asbestos from a major corporation executive that said, you know what, my answer to the asbestos problem is this: if you made a good living from asbestos, you might as well die from it. We got to die from something, right? That's a motherfucker document, because they put profits over life and all of that. And so do I think that, you know, there's those things that are out there where Brad says will be shocked? I'm a little surprised that I believed that it was most likely that one person at the SEC would say, hey, what about XRP? And that's all they have to say. Like, what about XRP? You're giving ETH a pass. XRP is battled ETH for the second spot. It's third right now. Arguably, it's as decentralized. Like, what about them? And then there's some discussion. But in the Ripple briefs, they don't cite any kind of that language. If you look at what they cited in the emails, they cite Brett Redfern. He was the director of trading and markets. And it says something like, this speech will give blank, you know, more confusion, litigation. There's something in there. A lot of people speculated, and they've tried to like do the font and all that to say more confusion to the market. And we need to give them some blank, and we don't know what it is, in order to give the SEC more room to maneuver. So what's that phrase or word? So I don't know if XRP, I thought at first it definitely was brought up, but then remember, Freddie, that there's a June 13th, 2018 XRP Howey memo that we've never been able to read. What we know from that, and just think about that, it's dated the day before Hinman gives Bitcoin and ETH a free pass. And the XRP memo written by SEC enforcement lawyers analyzing whether XRP is a security under Howey or whether it was utilized as a security under Howey. We don't know what it says, but we know what it doesn't say. It does not recommend a cease and desist order letter from the SEC to Ripple. It does not recommend the initiation of an enforcement action against Ripple on June 13th, 2018. So what that means to me is that those lawyers could not determine whether or not XRP was utilized as a security. Because if they did, clearly you'd say, hey, Ripple's XRP is clearly being used as a security. Well, you're just not going to recommend anything. We recommend that you tell Ripple to stop it. And so maybe XRP is not mentioned in the emails because everyone knew that there was this analysis that was being written simultaneously as this is going on. But the fact that there's a memo written on XRP the day before the Hinman speech is delivered, in and of itself proves that XRP was a very ripe topic of discussion, and that there was this battle about ETH versus XRP. Because remember what Brad Garlinghouse just recently said publicly. He said, when it all comes out, you're going to scratch your head even more as to why would they ever bring this lawsuit based on what they were saying between themselves, which goes back to the first point we talked about. The lawsuit was used as a weapon. I don't care what anybody says. They'll never convince me of that. I thought I was speculating, like, John, you know, I said, could it be political revenge? Was it personal gain? Why this was that? And I cite some of the conflicts that we didn't know, that I didn't know existed back then, that I know exist today. And so the more we learn, the more this whole thing doesn't make sense, you know, unless there's ulterior motive. And everybody on this call knows if this case was about securities enforcement, if it was about U.S. securities laws, and it goes to sort of what Pat was talking about, you know, if it was truly about U.S. securities laws, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. Ripple would have paid a fine, you know, when the XRP ecosystem was really early and they were the only ones, you know, starting it. They'd have paid an early fine. Whether that's fair or not, doesn't matter. Selective enforcement, you know, ETH ICO, they would have paid a fine and they'd get clarity that XRP itself today is not a security, and we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Gotcha. Sorry, just one follow-up question, because appreciate you going into all that about the emails. It's great information, but we're all concerned with like justice, right? And like these people doing these crazy things, you know, I just want to also get your reaction to Janet Yellen and, you know, the emails to Gary. Like, you think, as well as Hinman, you think anything's going to happen to her about that?
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren, sorry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no. I think that it'll be criticized. She may even ignore it, but it just goes to show you what a farce Elizabeth Warren is. You know, not the. You know, I will get personal. It's a joke. She holds herself out as you know, someone who's against the big banks, and look at that script. It's a script. I don't want to put the chairman on a tough spot. In the meantime, he's putting, you know, American entrepreneurs on a tough spot, and so it's a disgrace. Will anything come of it other than criticism? Probably not. And unless the voters of Massachusetts get upset enough to call her out. But unfortunately, you're talking to someone who has I've convinced myself that if we don't get term limits in this country, we're doomed. And I believe that. I also believe that we've got to employ some kind of, like, if you go to the SEC, you're supposed to be a public servant. You just can't. There should be some bar of a couple. You just can't leave, right? Like the one guy goes, Bliss was his name, Dugan or whatever, Dugan Bliss. You know, he goes in the middle of prosecuting Ripple to BlockFi, and there's $100 million settlement shortly thereafter with BlockFi and the SEC. Like there should be some kind of like something done about that revolving door, I guess. You know, if you go to the FDA, you shouldn't be able to go to Pfizer immediately. If you work for CFTC, you shouldn't go, you know, all of a sudden be the number one, be helping the number one company that needs CFTC approval. It's just too incestuous. And so unless some that stuff is implemented, you know, I used to be an optimist when it came to things. And unfortunately, I find myself becoming unfortunately a pessimist about American politics because I just don't see anybody doing anything. You know, we go from one majority to the other and we just investigate the other and we throw up shit that doesn't matter. We keep spending money left and right. And
it's not just America. It feels overwhelming everywhere. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely don't think the Secretary of Defense should be sitting on the board of Raytheon holding stock shares either. So John,
well, I mean, just think of that. Think of that. I mean, look at all the people that insider trade all the time. I mean, honestly, no jokes. How is it possible that, you know, Pelosi and her husband they get that visa deal, right? All of a sudden, the legislation is in favor, and then 2 weeks later, he gets invited to have 1 million shares of Visa. Like, and then how is it possible that 3 weeks before the Google lawsuit, they sell their Google shares? Like that, it's just not a coincidence. It's insider trading.
Yeah, absolutely.
John, I have a really serious question. There's a hand behind you that keeps. Can you there's I think a person is
what is that? Oh,
that's my daughter, cardboard cutout of my daughter.
I totally thought that was a foot.
She's 18 years old. That was her high school graduation. So I was making fun of my daughter. Olivia is 4'11". She's a tiny little thing. And so I had to cut out. The cutout's shorter than that, but I said it's basically a size replica of her. Anyway, I just didn't have the heart to. I didn't have the heart to do with anything with it, but I didn't realize the hand was over my head.
We were just trying to figure out, is this a hand or a foot? That is adorable. We love it.
So
hey,
John,
I only have about 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, but
okay.
But anyways,
thank you so much for being here, John.
So one last quick
I appreciate
question for you. So the confidential committee is something that's a sore spot on XRPL. A lot of people give us grief for it for doing a fair market valuation on XRP. I would love to know your thoughts as far as does that confidential committee's assessment of fair market value through different multiple different valuation schemes, does that give you as an attorney some sort of recourse in the future for damages, you know, if it comes to that?
Well, I will tell you this: if you look at 2 years of me tweeting and being vocal, I don't think you can ever find me commenting on price. It's just something that I don't do. What I've explained to people is that at some point, if there is a lawsuit where you're able to pierce through sovereign immunity, qualified immunity, or there's a lawsuit related to regulatory capture where there was some type of conspiracy to provide a group of few people in a monopolistic regulatory advantage, then obviously someone like me as a trial attorney, I hire experts to try to provide what are the damages, you know, that have been suffered. But I'm just not qualified to be able, and I don't know enough. I know with the controversy, and I know that the XRP community, you know, there's just a lot of controversy out there. But that's really the heart of it. I just don't know enough of. I don't get in the price, so I'm really not going to comment on like whether, you know. I couldn't tell you whether XRP is going to be worth $1 or $10 or $1,000 or anything else in the future. I'm just not smart enough. So I have to rely on other people to figure that out for me.
I appreciate that answer, John.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does.
Some people may say that's the best. That's the best avoidance of a question in the world. I don't know. I'm trying to be as fair as I can be.
Thank you for spending time with us today. We know it's a super important day for you, for your daughter. So thank you so much for coming on, hanging out at the town hall. We really appreciate it, John.
And he's lagging.
No, I Pat had tweeted me, and I wasn't responsive, and I had said that I would pop in, and I never like to let somebody down after I tell them I'm going to do something. So I'm sorry that it had to be abbreviated or I'm rushing out, but I appreciate you guys inviting me. It's always a pleasure.
This has been fantastic. Thank you, John.
Apologize.
All right, thanks, John. Good luck tomorrow.
Happy birthday to your daughter.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Everybody have a good one. Be safe.
All right, thank you, John.
Bye.
Unbelievable. That was awesome.
Awesome to have him. But I did want to weigh in a bit, and Fred, you'd be probably a great speaker on this. But basically, I keep hearing crypto being related to as the Wild West, but I would say it's more like a riot where the enforcement agencies are the police officers in the scene, and 4 people run by with their loot bags or whatever, and the 5th one gets the beat stick to the kneecap. And my question on this is, if those who cooperate with a corrupt agency and are corrupt themselves are doing so with incentive being that they get like some leeway and some protection, but they know that, correct, they're paying, like Sam Bankman-Fried, where they're paying off the system and they're working on legislation and they're just being shiesty bastards. That's one element of it. But when there's good actors who come up, they're the ones who get the lawsuits, like LBRY, Ripple, and then you've got the shady ones who file in other nations and do Sam Bankman-Fried style stuff, and they're kind of like cozied up to and slipping the SEC money, in my opinion, or playing games. What my point is and question is would be, would you recommend that the micro mirrors the macro in this scenario of everything, and that if dealing with a corrupt cop, the drug dealer can slip him a pound of weed or whatever and get by and then not get busted because he could get hit up in another month and keep providing this corrupt cop with this bullshit, kind of like JP Morgan, the silver fines, you name it, it's going on, it's bullshit, but it persists with the ones who are willing to play ball. Squeaky clean bastards like Brad Garlinghouse are going to be like, well, this isn't legal, I'm not doing this. So they don't get in this loop. You see what I'm saying? So instead, they just get attempts to regulate them straight out of the damn business because they're not one of the boys. They're not one of the ones who are going to play the games. So in this mirroring of micro and macro, what my question would be is, why the hell would anybody cooperate? And as an attorney, would one recommend not talking to the police? Therefore, if the mirroring is true, one would recommend not talking to the SEC, staying the hell away from these cats, and making them do all of the footwork for anything that they want, and making them make them hunt you, because essentially if you play ball, you just get screwed. If you're actually good, that's the question.
All right.
Good luck, Fred.
I think I heard that. But I'm gonna try and answer this one. Then I'm gonna sign off and sign back in, guys, because I think my internet's getting a little hazy. But to what I thought you asked me, William, I would recommend to any client that gets something from the SEC that says, we think you're a security, give us information. I would slow play that, and I would send them a very nice letter back that says, hey, I don't know if you sent us this letter by accident, but we're a digital asset company. We're clearly not securities or investment contracts. We don't do this, this, and this, very overbroad, but, accurate. And, so we appreciate that you looked into it, but, kindly, it's outside of your jurisdiction. We won't be responding. Send that back. That'll send them crazy. And, they'll send more letters. And basically, you drag it on as much as you can. And then finally, if it looked like they were going to file something, I'd advise the client to preempt that and file something more in that company's home court. If you're a Texas company in Texas court, if you're a Wyoming company that's much more, it's got ostensibly blockchain favorable laws, file there and just say injunction, tell the SEC to get off our backs. We're not a security. And then you're a little more on the offensive. I wouldn't, it's always a risk going to court like that, but I would want to be more in the driver's seat in that litigation than having the SEC do it. I wouldn't cooperate at all because I would make them prove it that they think we're my client in that case would be a security. And if they don't, just to kind of see what they have, just reverse it, basically. Come in, maybe I might even say in the letter, hey, why don't you fly out to our corporation, come in, talk to us, let us know what you think. And, not give them any information at all and just slow play it as much as I can. But I mean, you're right. The bottom line is when you start trying to be friends and you're not trying to pay them money like we saw with FTX, you're just asking for trouble. And he kind of slid by the radar, but I think Gemini was doing the same thing when maybe it was Tyler. I can't remember if it was Tyler or Cameron, but they had that tweet thread about we've been talking to the SEC for months. I mean, they were probably doing the exact same thing that Bankman-Fried was doing. They were just 2 or 3 steps behind and not paying enough money. I mean, what else were they doing talking to him for 17 months?
Hey,
right.
So this is a recorded call. This is a recorded call. I just want to make a statement to Sam Bankman-Fried. Bro, you're a dick. You're going to go down. You're going to go down.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see how much money he's managed to hide. But on that note, those who play ball, it's kind of like if you're suspected of a crime and you're talking to a police officer and they're like, don't talk to it because can and will be used against you means we're literally we're data mining this situation to find something that we can go after you with. So it would be in your recommendation, and I have to agree completely that you'd want to avoid any interactions with these entities, even if you're good, because if you're good and you go in and you there's an old saying basically, show me a man and I'll find you, his crime basically. I'm sure you're well aware of it and can say it better, but you know what I'm getting at here. It's like, stay the hell away from them because they're bad news bears no matter what. They're not your friend. They don't like you. They want to destroy you, possibly get another silver star on their little uniforms or whatever they get.
But again, that's where there's so much confusion with the FTX thing, right? Because they wanted to lure people in like the Ripple guys and then sue them. And then for some reason they lured in SBF and then held his hand and let him defraud the whole public.
James,
like,
he had bags. He had bags. Stacks of 10 billion, and he's like, here, Gary, I'll buy you a Lambo, bro. Like,
something stinks over there. I'll tell you that much.
Political money laundering. I don't care what anybody says. It's public record.
Would be really helpful.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it would take guts. I don't have, and if anybody did have connections, I'd be happy to talk with anybody in the staff. But if we had a state attorney general that really wanted to make a name for himself or herself nationally, they could file something on behalf of a corporation or their state in general and just say, hey, listen. Because some of the states do have some blockchain favorable laws out there right now. Hey, we want an injunction or we want a declaratory action from you saying that our law doesn't implicate these securities. And then it would put the federal government on the defensive because then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, like now we got to fight with this state. It just brings a whole nother level into it. And so nobody did that. And so one of the things that we're doing, HODL law, is we filed a lawsuit against the SEC for declaratory action that Ethereum's not a security. And these things move slow. We filed it right before Thanksgiving. We served the SEC. We're waiting. They've got till mid-February to respond. But, the fact that they haven't reached out and said, oh, Fred, your lawsuit, it's clear Ethereum's not a security. Just, go ahead and really, drop it, or they could just answer it and say, we don't know what HODL law is talking about. Of course, Ethereum's not a security. But they haven't done any of that. I'm pretty sure they're going to just stay quiet until they have to. And then I think they're going to try and file a motion to dismiss. But just by filing the motion to dismiss on procedural grounds, that tells you all you need to know, that they're going after Ethereum at some point.
And who's going after the SEC is my question. It seems like there's a free
Not
ride.
Congress.
Yeah, that's what HODL's trying to do. That's what John's trying to do with his case that he signed up, 74,000. That's what we're trying to do.
I understand. That's the people, right? From the government, who's keeping them accountable? That's what I would like to see.
Nobody.
Exactly
that
right.
one's easy.
And that's the
Nobody.
issue. But that's the issue, is it not? As a government entity, don't you want to be on the right side of the law? Don't you want to be on the right side of the public? Are you not representing the public? Is that not the point of being a government? You are there for the people, serving the people, to represent the people and the people's best interests. If you are now on the wrong side of history, of the wrong side of the people, shouldn't something be done? Shouldn't somebody look themselves in the mirror and be like, holy shit, what are we doing? Let's clean up our act. Let's sack that person. Let's get rid of him, and let's fix this all up. That's what a reasonable person would imagine would be occurring in government, but it just doesn't seem the case. It just seems like they are more corrupt than anybody else. It's like, are they the villains in a movie? It feels that way.
It feels like a snowball. You're clearly not qualified to be in the government.
Yeah.
Josh guys, I have an announcement to make. Josh just told me that there's an app called Paid to Poo. Put in your wage and start the timer. When you start and stop, it'll calculate how much you have made.
No. Do they pay in
crypto? John comes, John leaves, and we talk about shit straight away.
Literally.
So
Freddie,
let me
what
get
you're
that
saying
right.
is that JP Morgan is going to get sued by the SEC because they're associated with Ethereum. So the banks are basically going after themselves now and their own interests.
JP Morgan will not end up being sued. So a lot of people don't realize this, but back in the Great Depression, JP Morgan basically bailed out the United States of America. We were broke, and JP Morgan basically bailed us out. So if you look into that, you'll see why they have so much influence and so much power in everything they do.
Yeah, that's why they get free passes on drug running and doing basically whatever the hell they want to manipulate any markets that they want.
Yeah.
What's everybody drinking, by the way?
I have Kahlua and coffee, and I also have margarita.
You mix them or like
Kahlua and margarita?
And the other.
I got some Modelo. That's it.
I like that. I'm having a non-alcoholic beer.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Called out.
Nobody drinks near beer.
I do.
Apple juice.
Even deployed, we wouldn't drink that shit.
Welcome, Kelly.
Hi.
What are you drinking, Kelly?
Kelly, officially.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, guys. Sorry, late to the party.
No, you're fine.
Central time.
Tardy to the party. It's all good, sister. And Lady K, welcome back. Can we hear your voice this time?
It's a little bit better, but not
barely. You're so quiet. Can you put the mic closer, or is it part of your laptop?
Barely. You need to.
You gotta go right up to the mic on the left.
Get on it and yell at us.
I want to go mobile too.
Yell, scream.
Yeah, get on your mobile.
Check your StreamYard settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you yell, we can hear you really softly if you yell.
I have a question. Stewie
Okay.
asked, can you still sign up for the lawsuit with John Deaton?
Can you still sign up for the lawsuit with John Deaton?
I believe you can if you go to his website.
Yeah, I think it's cryptolaw.com. So check it out. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, I suffered significant financial loss because of Gary Gensler. Significant, provable. I can't wait. Honestly, if I
think everyone in this room probably did.
100%. I think that's what makes the XRP community so different.
Hold on, I got wiped out because of them.
What was that, Freddie?
Yeah, what'd you say?
I said I'm gonna go ahead and have my first drink with y'all.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yay!
I'm just doing shots though of tequila.
Don Julio.
Spicy.
Oh my gosh, tequila. when I don't drink tequila much, because when I start drinking tequila, I do handcuff shots, like, let's go, and handcuff, it's not good. People are like, when Kelly said, don't drink tequila.
Where are you, Kelly, with the snow in the background? It's quite beautiful.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cold. I'm trying to find my long johns for tomorrow. It's going to be like negative 15.
If you look really closely, you can see an Eskimo and a penguin in the background.
Are you allowed to say the word Eskimo?
I don't know. Is that a thing these days?
I think that's a thing these days.
There's a suggestion that Lady K might have a Bluetooth connected and the mic is across the room.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Maybe.
That's
Check the mic that you're using in settings, Lady K.
Yeah, but we can still hear her.
Can you call the Geek Squad? Where you are?
You have coffee and Kahlua and White Claw in the chat. I like those.
So anyone not aware of this, Kelly is like my saving grace. She keeps my schedule and keeps me from missing all my interviews and stuff like that, and reminds me.
I actually did not know that. Unreal.
So Kelly,
that's if I get the time right.
Yeah. We're batting like 9 out of 10. We're good.
There's been a few, but
Kelly's the best, and she's just straight up like rescued me off the mean streets of Minnesota too. So like, I love you, boo. You my girl forever.
It's fun. Yeah, Jenna and I have got to meet in person a few times.
Kelly is the secret weapon of the XRP ledger. Everyone out here has her like in their back pocket helping them out, and no one knows who she is. So give Kelly a follow.
The glue of the XRPL.
Yeah. What's your handle, Kelly? Let's get you some followers.
K Buddy 87.
Hey, buddy.
I have it in the little.
My dog's name is Buddy.
Kelly.
And I was not born in 87. That was to be.
Oh, I thought you made that up, like Kelly, Buddy, like she's a friend. She'll be your friend. Like I was like,
yeah. So at first it was because my dog's
like she'll be your buddy.
Yeah, because I am a buddy.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be better to add that to it. It's not just my dog.
I like it. I love it. Hey guys, did you see? I want to bring this up real quick because we have the XRPL team here. Did you guys read the article yet and check about like XRP becoming more decentralized yet? Did you see that?
You got a link?
No, but what I did hear is there was a new. I have to think of what it's called. Well, a new thing that was being voted on the XRPL, and Ripple sort of said no, but the majority is saying yes. So it's sort of like proving the decentralization. If they're going against Ripple, the people are sort of choosing to bring something on that Ripple aren't agreeing to. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Are you talking about the
it's like an
30 or whatever?
I don't think it's XLS 30 though. It's something else. It's the one to do with the checks. I just can't.
Oh yeah, that's right. The checks.
I don't know about it.
New UNL decentralization milestone. Here are the participants. I'm just gonna read real quick, just because I find this really cool, and I just think it's something. Because how many times do we have Bitcoin maxis and everybody like, oh, it's centralized, centralized. Well, now you can just shut up, like it's not. Yeah. And this is basically just making it so they don't show up first with the validator nodes.
And for the record, Bitcoin's totally centralized.
Explain.
Because it's run by 3 different mining networks, and China owns like 60% of the mining for Bitcoin, so they can literally do whatever they want with it.
Oh, I thought China kicked them out. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, so after they kicked them out, their percent of mining share rose by like 3% in 2 months.
The majority of the Bitcoin mining is done in the United States now. There are companies in the I posted that all over the place. It's on Twitter. Most of the Bitcoin mining is done in the United States. It's
I don't believe it. So the reason I don't believe it is because of the cost of producing one Bitcoin for the cost of energy and kilowatt hours in the United States versus the cost of mining based off of dams and waterways in China. It's not realistic even for the United States to have a majority.
Well, so then what you're saying is that the primary amount of Bitcoin mining is still being done in China, which is under the purview of the CCP.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, also, even if it was majority of the U.S., I mean, if the miners were owned by Chinese companies, I mean, that's functionally the same thing too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they could be anywhere all over the world. If they're owned by, Chinese corporations, you're in the same boat.
Yeah. And Chinese corporations belong to the CCP. But
Yeah.
What's the CCP?
Chinese Communist Party. Yeah.
The government.
Now I know. Hey, I just learned. Oh, never mind. Patrick won't let me talk about this. I forgot.
Oh, wait. Talk about it. What is it?
Okay, guys.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, you got to.
I just learned about LBRY land today. And so have you guys heard about LBRY land?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, talk about it. It's a good topic.
It is. Okay, so I'm not shilling it, but apparently it's a lot of OGs who are into crypto, but basically because they feel like they want to live a decentralized life, actually, and they feel like, America is not what it was supposed to be and that things have changed. And so they've actually decided to go and start their own country, but starting your own country is a lot of work. So there are right now, I think they have like 600,000 memberships, or people that have applied online for an e-citizenship. And then they only have like 1,000 actual citizens. But guys, it costs actually like $10,000, $5,000 to $10,000 to become a citizen. But the thing is, you can actually work for them this is an experiment. And like their ambassador, I had a talk with him today, was actually like, no, this is an experiment. Like that's all that this is. But it's people with, common beliefs who want to come together. I was like, do you have a military? They're like, no, we would pay it like a country around us to protect us. We want to come in, peaceful and everything. So that's kind of like what that's like. And as far as like voting power and everything like that, that's done with your tokens. You buy their LBRY land tokens, whatever they are. You have to hold 5,000 of them for a vote. The more you accumulate, the more voting power you have in that country. And like if you have kids, you can either pass them down tokens or they can work for their tokens. But like you don't have to have it to become a member. You can just help support them and work for it. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, so I had that talk today, and it's a place, and there are 0 taxes on crypto.
Where is it?
Well, it's like near Croatia, and just look it up, LBRY land. It's like somewhere like that I've never heard of. It's a little tiny space, and I asked how many people can actually live there, and I think it was only like 100 and some thousand. Like it's not many. So there's a lot of logistics and everything that you have to figure out. Literally so many things because you're starting your own country. So it's a process. But
And they're being recognized as a country by other countries?
Only by 2 other countries so far. They recognize them. Haiti and another one. So that's not a lot.
Not the countries that the land is actually in.
Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of matters.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean, like, yeah, so they're cool with like not Croatia. I think it's another one around them, but they're not with Croatia. So it's hard. But they are cool with El Salvador. I know LBRY Land Aid Foundation donated a Bitcoin to help like their children's society. And in turn, maybe eventually they will recognize them, but it's gotten to a certain point. Like one of their struggles right now is just creating a passport with certain biometrics and everything. There's literally so many things you have to do. So I just think it's interesting to find out about. I don't know if it'll ever work, but basically it'll just be crypto people.
So one of the major exports in Luxembourg is like banking and finance, whatever they do there. It's a small place. Most of their trade exports aren't production, like they don't have mining or anything like that. So this place, like what's their primary export going to be? Like what are they trading with their partners in order to bolster their GDP?
I didn't get that yet. I only got an hour worth of questions and I will post them because I had so many and I got basics, but all I know is they need people right now. They need to figure out, of course, farmers, they will need doctors, they will need anybody who can offer some kind of service, and you'll have to have that. But anything you can't, that's when it kind of falls into what I asked, like, how much is it going to cost to live there, right? Because if you're like on an island or somewhere, you have to get, certain goods flown into you and everything. That's going to be expensive. So
they're right on the river. I'm looking up their
bedrock.
Riverland.
That's going to be the export. Round rock.
Are you going there, Jenna?
Okay, so Liz, I buy a lot of shit, right? So this isn't saying anything.
This girl's going. I'm going. Let's go. Fuck it.
I did buy the $150 e-citizenship online just to like poke around.
Good dual citizenship. It's good. It's good.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm like, you know me, like I gotta check shit out. I gotta see what's going on. So
Whose Discord just keeps going off? I keep looking back at mine. Like, is that mine?
no, it's not mine. I'm out of my Discord. I had to.
I hate Discord.
It's
so
yours,
I never have
Patrick.
it open. It's not me. It's not open.
They're gonna make Phygital bedrocks. Every NFT comes with a free rock.
Patrick's
You pay for shipping.
Patrick's like, I'm not associating with you in your imaginary country.
No, I think it'll make a great territory of Russia within 2 years.
That sounds about right. I was going to say, if no one else recognizes it and it's in the middle of everyone, like it's going to become really centralized whenever something takes it over. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, so don't get me wrong. I think the idea is cool. I just think the execution leaves like so much challenge in front of them. I'm one of those people. I don't protest unless it's with lead. So I don't think that peaceful birth of a country is really even possible. I think if it's not born in blood, then it's probably not going to stay there.
Well, I hope it proves us wrong. But yeah, I mean, that'd be really cool, right?
Starting a country now, you gotta go somewhere in the Pacific, one of those islands, and just take that over.
Yeah, because China's totally okay with that. That's been proven, right?
Are we talking about colonization, guys? Just relax a bit.
Yeah, that's basically what it sounds like. Well, I mean, James, you are from Australia. You're basically with the...
Not negatively. I mean, that's what Bitcoin City is. That's what LBRY is. They're colonizing.
Oh.
Well, Australia is a prison colony, so let's be fair about this.
It was. Yeah.
It was. We're a beautiful, beautiful country now. That's for sure.
And we now know that those lose wars to emus, so...
They are very aggressive.
But where's like, do you think that there will actually, okay, tinfoil hat moment. Do you think that there will actually be like communities, like XRP communities, where like shit's going down, where people like all come together and then help others who can't help themselves? And the fact that, hey, maybe there is a great reset, but like these people who can't help themselves, maybe they can contribute in other kind of ways. I guess maybe.
I think we're there now, Jenna, online. Like, why does it have to be somewhere physical?
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
No. I think we can transition to a physical one for sure. You know that a lot of wealthy people tend to congregate over certain areas like Beverly Hills and different, there's places that people want to move to that they have a lot of money. It's Dubai, it's whatever. But I don't see why if XRP didn't moon and a lot of people, general people in the community didn't make a lot of money, they wouldn't relocate to really high class areas, in which case you might get a lot of neighbors who are XRP holders or different mooned assets of the same, asset class.
Let's get some people let's just all congregate in Texas. Let's just throw
Yes.
there.
Texas, please.
Texas is great for natural resources. It has a lot. It could be its own country. It really could. So
XRP land.
Start. Yeah.
We'll buy it off of the U.S. How about that? XRP land.
I gotta check out
China already did
places in Texas because I've gone to Austin. My brother lives there. I'm not a fan of Austin.
Oh, okay.
I don't like Austin much, but I like Dallas. I like San Antonio. I'm not a fan of Houston, but if you go to like Horseshoe Bay outside Austin, it's awesome. So that's kind of my target.
Who's a fan of big cities though? Let's just break it down and be honest. It's always a cesspool. It always sucks. And then if you think about the new Great Reset bullshit and then smart cities, where it's like, oh, we're going to cram you into these Dorito bags and they're all stacked and it's super cool. You're going to love it and you're going to suck on bugs. That is going to be hell. Trust me. You're not.
But I will answer that question for you, William. Young people love the cities. They love the life. They love the vibrance. They love the culture. They love the party.
Public transportation.
No, I'm
It
It's true, young people do because they got.
We're showing our age. I think.
Doing something.
But
yeah.
I'm the same. Like as I'm getting older, I'm like I want to be as far away from major cities as possible. It's it's something that you get with wisdom.
Yeah.
I think it's
I'm looking at the
Tastes like
chat
shit.
and Alaska, North Dakota. That's too cold for me. That's really one of my only weaknesses is cold weather. And
Just
it doesn't
buy
take
long
much.
underwear.
Like,
Hold on,
low
hold on. Have we
50s.
appreciated Josh's cup? Show us what you're drinking from, Josh.
Dude, this is my tea. When I drink tea, I do
Oh,
it from a
Jesus,
stein. It's as big as my head.
Wow, mate. I thought it was a
What
beer.
if- oh, now I can see. That's,
Yeah.
that's large.
Alaska's good though, man. You could just straight up live off the land, like I don't know, fish up some salmon and bite it. Like
You
we're
could die
doing
off the
that.
land too.
I was gonna say Great Lake. That's the place
Yeah.
you gotta go. Great Lakes. It's cold, but just dress warm.
It's minus 20 outside today Celsius for me, so I ain't going anywhere.
When
Minus
XRP
20.
gets whenever XRP gets goes to wherever it does, and we're able to actually have this conversation, what we should do is just launch a token, airdrop it to all XRP holders, be like, where do you want? Where are we going to set up shop?
You just reminded me of something. Wasn't there like a capsule project where they sent a capsule to the moon with like a ledger device with some XRP on it? Do you guys remember that?
No shit, really?
Yeah, this is going back to like the XRP forum days, like before Twitter became a big popular thing.
I don't
What's
remember.
Never heard of it.
Just some
I never
googling,
heard that.
So XRP literally to the moon.
literally to the moon.
Literally.
They sent access to the wallet with the keys. They sent access to the wallet to the moon. That's it.
Okay, so
The ledger
Wait.
is access.
you guys are saying XRP of the moon. I have all of you here. I would like to go around and actually know what your predictions are for after the lawsuit and when you think we'll moon. All right. And start with Patrick. Go.
Oof. Not financial advice and all that jazz. I think like immediately after the lawsuit, within probably a week, we're going to see $10 plus $13. I think within the next year, we see between 130 to 240. So I'm basing that off of orders of magnitude and basically the Fibonacci sequences. So I think 120 to 240 per XRP is totally reasonable. As far as like long term, I do see it becoming the global reserve currency. Obviously, I put that out previously, and that's because it's going to be the medium of exchange between other currencies, and that just comes with a default to it that everything has to end up on that ledger, and there's nothing else that competes with it right now at all.
Okay. Josh, thoughts?
Oh, I'd say $2, something around just to like that all-time high to break that psychological barrier of that last time all-time high, right? Some people are going to be pissed from having to wait. They're going to want to get out, in my opinion, when it goes to that all-time high. And then once a lot of these partnerships with these banks kick in, I can see that, there's a blog. If anybody is listening to this and you haven't read it yet, it's called Galgatron blog. And he just stopped posting. The guy was an unapologetic ass, but he was smart at what he did. And he's got this one post. It's called The Great and Wondrous Whatever XRP. You'll see it if you ever just go look at Galgatron blog. And he talked about value gravity, right? So how much the underlying value that is what being used currently, and as it gets used more, then the kind of brings up the base layer and the lowest that the price could be for what the use is. And so I can see that going up and up and up. This court case, I believe, is one of the last things to tap and to kind of allow them to do what they need to do. So I'll say the potential future price. Well, we already know that we've got the banks bailed out the governments, and now who's going to bail out the governments? It has to be something else. And so I could see where the fiat system is falling apart, and we know that the Forex is already kind of got some issues. There was the LBRY rate, which had some problems. So we know that the LBRY rate has to be fixed. And I could see that RippleNet could very much function like a new LBRY rate that nobody can kind of manipulate and take advantage of. And if it's going to replace the Forex and the LBRY for the banks, I could see the price going up easily above $100 very, very easily in maybe 3 to 5 year time frame is my guess.
All right. I like that. Okay. Wait, we're bringing up Greg. Greg, get your butt up here. We're bringing you up.
Bring him up and put him on the spot straight away.
Greg, no. Kelly, go ahead. Give us your prediction. What's your prediction for XRP after settlement and what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. I do think there's going to be a rise, and then I kind of wondered about it just kind of falling a bit after the hype, and then going up after that.
No, I want numbers, Kelly. Like, I
know, when I look at the Fibonacci retracement levels, no, I don't know. I guess I was thinking around 10 something, but I don't know that kind of stuff. So, but I was thinking 10, and then I thought it'll actually go down, and then it'll gradually increase.
So take gains, maybe have an extra strategy. I like that. I'm $10 to $13 after settlement somewhere with Kelly.
This would probably be a good time to say again here, Jenna, that none of this is financial advice.
No, our advice financially, something wrong with you. We're just saying because we are fanatics. We don't get paid by Ripple. We are just diehards, and these are our thoughts. Don't make any kind of financial decisions based off anything we said. Freddie, was that good, Fred? Was that a good disclaimer?
I mean, I always thought that was kind of lame, those disclaimers, but everybody loves saying not financial advice constantly. I mean, I'll just say there's so many lawsuits where people still win and or lose, whether they've said that or not. So I'm just always like, it's always funny to me when everybody's just, let me come in right here and say this.
Well, my disclaimer is that at least 10 out of the 9 of us are drunk, so don't don't take our advice.
Greg, welcome, Greg.
Hey guys.
Greg, we need your price prediction on XRP like right now.
After the lawsuit's over?
Yes, after the lawsuit, and then like the next year, and then the next year.
I think shortly after the lawsuit, we'll see 12 to 15. And then somewhere between 27 and 30 for the next year.
I like that. That's sensible. I like that, Greg. I like that. Fred, we didn't hear your predictions yet, though.
I think after the lawsuit, I think there's going to be enough that's favorable in there after summary judgment to get it to the $2 to $4 range. And then I think it'll just kind of stay there until the next bull run. I'm a big fan so far. It hasn't been proven wrong of like these 4-year cycles, but I think in the next bull run, it'll go somewhere between 10 and 15. My biggest problem with anything higher than that is the political side of it and I think that's the reason the SEC did this. If they've got 45 billion XRP in escrow and you don't, I know does someone allocate this? Does someone else have a claim on it? That's all up in the air. But if you say Ripple has it, $10, and they're all of a sudden they have 450 billion market cap, aside from the value of their company. And that puts them at the top 13 biggest companies in the world. And if they give $100, then all of a sudden they're 4.5 trillion and they're twice the size of Apple. And so that's the problem that I just.
But is that not based on them not taking profits on the way, right, Fred? Like that, surely they would, like at the end of the case, if XRP price starts to rise, Ripple would start selling some of their assets to try and reclaim some of what they've spent on the legal fees and whatnot. So they wouldn't, their value wouldn't completely increase because it's not like they're going to withhold the same amount of XRP the whole time, right?
It just depends on how you calculate that. So yes, obviously they can only sell $1 billion every month, remember, so of that escrow. And I think they have like 6 to 9 billion just as a treasury amount that, they have whenever they want. But so if you're going to say whatever the price of XRP is times that, convert that to dollars and whatever in their escrow, that's their market cap. So yes, every month, if I was Ripple, I would be selling XRP, 1, to make money, and 2, to put it into the ecosystem.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, so if it's $10 tomorrow, they've got 450 billion. They sell $1 billion, and so the next month, March 1st or February 1st, and then March 1st they sell another, and so that's $10 billion worth. So yeah, I mean, they will be selling more of it instead of hoarding it, but whatever it is at that moment, you got to assume you got to add that to their market cap.
And how are they off ramping it? That's what I want to know. Who's cashing them out? One of the questions I actually had was around what point or what needs to come out of this court case for these exchanges to start relisting XRP, particularly in America, because that's really the only place that did delist it. Is there a magic part of this case that needs to land for them to start relisting?
Yes or no, but are we going to finish price predictions before I answer?
Don't worry about the price predictions. This is more important, I think.
Well,
I just cut off Jenna. She just muted herself. I'm joking, Jenna.
I mean, the thing with the exchanges is none of them had to stop now. Nobody filed cease and desist. SEC is not going after Uphold. You know, if they had courage and conviction, they could relist now. Yeah. So there's that, which is obviously disappointing and a negative going forward. If summary judgment happens or later on trial and Ripple is just clearly okay, or XRP in the secondary market is okay, that's a lot stronger for companies to go ahead and relist, because they can say, look, we've got the court case, we've got this opinion. It's the law right now. If, you know, if Ripple loses on appeal, then we change then. So it's a lot easier to relist if they've got favorable legal precedent that their in-house counsel can say, yeah, you can relist, we're fine. But then the SEC could send them letters after they lose saying, listen, we're going to appeal this and we're going to come after you if you, relist this. And legally, they'd be okay in that time period between winning and the appeal. But practically, the SEC could make their lives a living hell. And so now that can't happen if every exchange lists it and they all rise together. But we've kind of seen that doesn't happen.
When you say the SEC making their lives a living hell, that's actually, from my personal opinion, how it should have been handled to begin with. Like, the SEC should have not have been chasing these individual companies. Rather, they should have been chasing the exchanges who are taking on a lot more risk to the public. And as we saw with FTX, how damaging they could be. So it's anyway, it's in a parallel universe, but it just seems like such a strange thing what's happening in the States and how influential it is on the rest of the world. I know that most of you are from North America, if not all of you. The fact that I'm from Australia and there's people from all across the world that are just absolutely hurting because of what an American agency is doing is just bananas.
I just wish I could rotate your camera to make it so you're always upside down on stream.
Is that better?
Yeah, there we go. You should do all streams like this.
No, he's really down under.
Oh, I can't keep it there.
The water flows backwards.
Was it really?
In the toilets, in the drains. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's real, Jenna. It's a real thing.
But that's not just Australia. That's everyone in the Southern Hemisphere.
If you go to the equator, like, they'll flush a bowl on one side of the equator and then they do it on the other and it goes the opposite direction. It's a whole thing.
It equalizes.
It is real. He's not fucking with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
it's
sure.
real.
I'll find a video for you, Jenna.
Oh, good, because I was gonna fly there just to flush.
It's expensive.
Although at all the American embassies in the Southern Hemisphere, they have these machines that make the water flush the American way.
Really?
That's funny.
What a bunch
that was a Simpsons reference when they went to Australia.
Jenna, we're gonna make you dye your hair blonde.
I am so gullible. I hate it.
That is a great classic Simpsons. If anybody ever wants to watch it, when they all have to go to Australia so Bart can make his public apology.
There's something about a boot up the ass or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know, but the Simpsons do predict everything, so maybe that's gonna happen at some point.
Wait, Josh just sent a link to what's that you just sent me?
Well, that's to the
Simpsons.
At the equator in Uganda, at the equator, with the water experiments called the Coriolis effect, how it changes directions.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and they show you on one side of the equator in the middle, and then on the other side, just pouring water.
Say that 3 times fast.
No.
Hey, side note, Patrick, is there going to be a Reaper conference, or what did you guys meet up?
So yes, but right now it looks like almost every venue we've checked in Texas is booked through what they call the busy season, mostly for weddings. So now we're kind of aiming for Halloween as our likely, like, if we can lock it down.
Okay, well, that's better for me.
Yeah, hopefully it works out better for a lot of people.
Is that going to be in Texas, Patrick?
Yeah, that's the plan for the first one is Texas.
Cool.
Let's go, Jenna. We're all eagerly waiting.
Kalunji. Yes, sir. Nice to meet you, Kalunji.
Nice meeting you, brother. So right now we are doing what we call geographical water experiment caused by the Coriolis effect. After pouring, you have to stabilize it, make the water come down.
Okay. You gotta stabilize.
After come down the water, we drop this flour on top to see whether it's going anti-clockwise.
Yeah.
So the farther you move from the equator, the faster it goes. The closer the equator, the slower. So let's go north and see what will happen.
What is he doing? Magic. He's a sorcerer.
That was anti-clockwise.
Oh, that's exactly on the equator.
My gosh.
It was a thing, guys. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
That's what we were telling you, Jenna. Damn it.
Real thing.
And now I'm never going to say counterclockwise. I'm always going to say anti-clockwise.
I love it. That was a thing. Okay, so I want to get more on this. When's the Reaper party? I'm so sorry. I was like spacing out because I was learning about anti-clockwise.
Probably October.
Am I invited? How much Reaper do you have to hold? Like, do you need an NFT? What's
NFT gives you and your family access, yes.
Which NFT?
All of them. Not Patrick's, just Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper's NFTs.
Wait, I can't use one of those shitty ones I bought at the auction?
I burned mine by accident.
What?
Patrick told me to send it back into the issuing address, and it's like, send it here, it's gonna burn. I don't know.
You know what? Come to think of it, I sent mine back to Patrick, and I don't think I ever got him back either.
Yep.
What is Patrick doing?
They don't.
And then he asked me. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything.
He just
But it's
conveniently
like, it's
left when you're
burnt.
talking about it as well.
Just kill the NFT.
Oh my god, this guy.
Well, that's good. That means we get access.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, I'll write a complaint to somebody.
Okay, good.
Gotta
That's
talk
funny.
to the
That happened
CEO,
to you
but
too,
okay.
Jenna?
Hey, listen, I'm just going to say as counsel that Reaper Financial follows all applicable laws, guidelines, and regulations. And anybody who may have negligently burned their own NFT has to take responsibility for operating error.
That
He
is
said, send it to
fantastic.
the issuing address. So I follow that direction.
Not financial advice. You can't listen to him.
You're hired.
Instructions
Freddie.
couldn't have been clearer how to properly handle them.
You're hired, sir.
I wasn't aware that any actually got burned, so that's crazy. I didn't realize that I wonder how many were down because that would.
Completely transparent.
Well, this is
sir.
like, this is a Jenna and Kelly thing, apparently. We don't know about other
And it's also alleged. I mean, we
gotta
don't
go
have
check
any
mine
proof
after
of
this.
this.
Where's the proof? Yeah, we'll blame
Kinda
it
went
on
for the
Gary.
wrong time, Patrick.
I heard if I got
What?
an apeshit NFT, it would change my life.
Oh,
What did I
wait,
miss?
what did you say, Jenna? What did you say?
Oh,
Look,
Lord.
Kelly, our NFTs back. She accidentally burned hers. I think I said it, never got it back. But we were trying to figure out how we get access to this Reaper event. She's gonna go by default. She works for you. Me, I'm like, what kind of NFT do I have to hold? But I bought some at auction. Does that count?
But she burned it.
If
I sent it back, and I don't think you ever gave it back.
Yeah, me either.
Jenna, I was going to invite you anyways. As well as pretty much everyone in this chat is invited. So you know.
Oh, so I have to bitch.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you feel important, Jenna.
We're messing with you. We're messing with you.
No, I'm really interested though because I didn't realize any. What are the state of the NFTs and did some get burned?
We're trying to sweep this under the rug right now.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that. I'm all.
Okay,
I'm like,
another question.
So much
sorry.
Oh, I have a question. What about that? Remember you with those ape things you made?
Yeah, the
There's
ape
secret message behind it, and to email you. What was it like? If it's once they all sold out, or what was that?
Yeah, so I can only reveal it once they all sold out.
Once they're
But
all
so far,
sold
one person has solved it.
So I didn't solve it because you said
You
that last
could have.
time.
You
And
just
then I
said one person.
No,
It's a
no,
mystery.
because he said that, and then
I haven't told them
emailed
yet.
him. I emailed him after, and so that would be a no.
No, I haven't
There's not
actually
two
told them
people.
yet who it is that solved it.
Bummer. I totally thought I had it.
Let's
I
go
don't remember.
sell these NFTs, Kelly, so we can figure out if it's you or me who solved this.
No, because I didn't submit it till afterwards, so it wasn't me. It's
Oh,
probably
so
Jenna.
you're late, so you don't count. Okay, good. I'm still in
Yeah,
the
because
running.
there's still just one. It's probably Jenna.
What do you win if you get it right?
I get like 1 million Reaper
it-
tokens.
You get like lots of
It's
Reaper.
100,000 Reaper.
Yeah, I heard it's 10x's if like nobody buys for a long time. It takes longer.
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder
Is
what
that
I
how it
wrote.
works?
In the chat, a crypto lipto. Where are you from in California? What part? Or where are you in California? I feel like I'm one of the only people still here.
That's not true. Most of the people still there just can't afford internet because they're living on the streets.
We got a notice from our gas company last week. The very first line of the email says, "There's no way to sugarcoat this. Your rates are going up by about triple."
Wow.
Oh,
Literally, it said that.
What?
Wow.
Rip it off.
So what's keeping you there?
Actually, that's better though.
Yeah,
Like,
for,
you're not gonna
for real
sugarcoat it.
though,
It's
like
good, dude.
move to Texas because I feel bad for you.
Wow.
Over there.
I'm
Everyone
a
else.
Florida boy. That's where I really want to. I want to go back to the crown jewel of America on the Gulf side. I don't want to reveal.
You
the
want to be
name because-
Florida man again?
I do. I could also. I've only been there a couple of times, but I could also go to Tennessee. Also, no income tax.
Let's see if you guys can see this. I just did a
People
share
don't
screen
realize
camera.
Texas. Your property taxes are absurdly high.
So ours are, but now that I'm a retired veteran, I don't pay those. So
I'm not signing up to get that benefit.
Retired veterans don't pay property taxes?
yeah, if you're over a certain percent of disability, like I don't pay any property taxes here. So
Like, will mentally disabled work or just like
Oh, that counts. You just got to get certified by the disability board.
yeah, I don't know for like non-veteran, but for me, I don't have to worry about it. So
I didn't know that. That's kind of.
Oh yeah, there's so many benefits for veterans. It's crazy. Your mortgage rates.
it's almost worth it. You should totally join.
Yeah. Just you.
We gotta do
call,
these.
They're getting a little stingy now because a lot of people, certainly some hotels, but like if you tell a lot of hotels you're a veteran, like the discounts you get are crazy.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No.
And there's some I don't know, Patrick, have you ever been? There's some like
Wow.
special like military hotels that are like just for veterans. They're like nice.
The IHG ones, and they'll be like cheap. They'll be like $50, but usually they're not very good. It's just like a standard Holiday Inn kind of thing. But yeah.
Oh, Riverside.
I just did a
Oh,
screen share.
Temecula.
Jenna.
That's close to me. I'm down South Orange County.
XRP Stewie. Where are you from, XRP Stewie?
Hey,
$1,200.
He says Riverside.
Oh.
Riverside, motherfucker.
Stewie's good. He makes.
Yeah,
some
everybody got the same letter in California. Like, there's no way to get around it.
It's so rough.
Yeah, $1,200 is actually more than my mortgage here in Texas. So you know.
All right, guys. So I actually have to pop off soon because it's like dinner time over here on the East Coast. I had an amazing time hanging out.
What are
with
you
everyone.
cooking?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, you didn't make enough for all of us? Come on.
Yeah, I thought come on.
No, I rarely ever cook unless it's tacos. Like I'm not breakfast and tacos. That's my jam. Otherwise, no, we're going out to eat. So
Nice.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah. But guys, this was so much fun. You guys want to hang out still, or do you want to wrap it? But we definitely we need to keep doing this. We need to do this again.
Yeah, let's make it a regular thing. I think.
Yeah, I liked it. This was fun. It's up to
Patrick,
y'all,
can
but-
you send me the schedule so that I'm not late?
We'll have to coordinate.
Will do.
I'm gonna. I'll probably sign off too. I'm gonna do one more for the road though with you guys.
Yeah. One last drink, and we all call it. All
I
right.
love
Cheers,
it.
guys.
Arriba, abajo,
Right.
el centro,
Right.
el entro.
All that. No habla inglés.
Oh, bless me, yo.
See you in Pookie.
All right, love you guys. Thank you everyone who
Have
tuned
a
in.
safe night, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Adios. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Yep. Thanks,
Bye. Good to see everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.